Ciao a tutte e a tutti. Mi vedete, mi sentite? Datemi un segno. Tanto do il benvenuto a tutte e a tutti, sia qui su Instagram, sia qui su YouTube. Hello everyone. I know the majority is English speaking here. So I know there are many Italians as well, so I will talk in English. So che molti di voi, la maggior parte parla inglese, e quindi questa live sarà in inglese. This live will be in English. And the title of this live is Pleasure as a Compass. Transform your sexual energy in personal power, in relationship and professional power. So I want to welcome you all as you come little by little. I'm very excited to be here. Let's take some moments to land into this space, to let go of all the stress of the day, of the morning, let go of all the stress of the week, all the distractions, all the things that pull us away from our center, all the noise out there. And let's open this sacred space together. Space in which our inner voice, inner wisdom and pleasure can be listened to, can be honored, and our desire can be acknowledged as a guide. Hello, Anastasia di Avalon. Hello, welcome. So today we will talk a lot about desire, both sexual desire and feminine desire in general. Because even if we were taught to fear desire, to control our desire, to ignore, oh my goodness, to ignore our desire indeed is a precious compass and a source of power. Of course, it can also be a trap. It can also be a source of disruption if we are like enslaved by our desire. But if you're here with me today, it means that you're ready to become master of your sexual energy and transform it from something gross and raw into art. Channeling your sexual energy towards your dharma, your life purpose, towards your vision, the vision of the woman that you are ready to become, in which you are ready to blossom. So I ask you, please, keep in mind very clearly this kind of woman, the woman that you are really deeply, truly a woman of success, successful woman, whatever this word means for you. Success derives etymologically from something that we are able to make happen. It's simply something that we make happen. Our authentic desires of the soul that we succeed in realizing. May it be the image of becoming a successful sex coach, a CEO and an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, a loving and wise mother, a woman sexually and sexually fulfilled and fulfilled also in her love relationship, a woman that is in a healthy and functional, nourishing relationship with her partner, a woman that is able to live, to realize her dream, to live in nature and self-produce her food and never go anymore to the supermarkets. A woman that travels all over the world. Whatever is your idea of successful woman for you. So you, as a successful woman, please know that you have all the right to dream, to be this kind of woman, which you already are. There is already the seed of that. It's your blueprint. Otherwise, you wouldn't desire and you wouldn't even dream and imagine to be such a woman, because you already are that woman inside. So please already know that you have all the right to dream about becoming this kind of woman. Not only that, but you have all the right to realize that kind of life. It's your right, and no one can argue with you about that. And believe me, I promise you, I can grant you, it's possible to realize that, to be a successful woman, that successful woman, whatever this means for you, whatever your dream is, you can succeed in realizing it. I can grant you, I'm a living example of a woman that realized every one of her even most absurd desire, things that other people told me, oh, that's absurd. You're daydreaming. They became true, and I'm here to tell you more about that also, because I did it mastering my sexual energy, and I am going to explain more about that in a moment. So I want to specify that this is the first of 3 lives, the one of today, the one of the 18th of July, and the one of the 25th of July, which will be at this same time, 1 p.m. CEST time, so Central Europe time zone. And at the end of all these 3 lives, the last one of which will be the 25th of July, there will be a quiz, and the winner of this quiz will receive at home a gift. And I will unveil what the gift will be in the last live of the 25th of July. So don't lose even one of these lives, because I will transmit you a lot. Take your journal and pen to write down what I will transmit you during these days together. And these are the 3 lives of the launching of the sex coach training. And I will tell you more about this amazing life-changing training in a moment. For those who are here for the first time, you are very welcome. I'm gonna introduce myself. I am Maya Vassallo Di Florio. I am a sex coach, a menstrual coach, and a therapist of pleasure, and a mentor. And I teach other women how to become successful sex coaches, menstrual coaches. And I am also a priestess of Aphrodite and sacred sexuality. I founded the Temple of the Great Goddess, Tempio della Grande Dea, in the center of Rome, which is the first modern temple in Italy dedicated to the divine feminine and goddess spirituality and matriarchy. I started 15 years ago guiding women, men, non-binary people of any gender, in paths of profound and deep awakening of their sexual energy, paths of healing, therefore, abundance, reconnection with cycles of the body and of nature, and reconnection with the body, wisdom. My paths, my teachings have been quoted also in academia by universities like Oxford University, La Sapienza University, where I teach and I hold lectures and conferences, and the University of Turin, John Cabot University, and others. I firmly believe in sexuality as a medicine, in beauty as a way of personal and collective evolution, and in pleasure as power. And with power, I don't mean the power over of patriarchy, I mean the power with of community, and also the power to speak, think, say, manifest, act our inner truth into the world. I firmly believe that individual healing cannot be detached from collective healing. That's why, hi Miriam, hi Serena, hello. That's why working on our sexual energy individually is a personal responsibility that will affect also all of humanity. Mm? So I want to open this sacred space of this life today, which we're going to talk about pleasure and feminine sexual desire, with a sentence that I always use to open many of my talks with. So listen carefully. We don't have a body. We are our body. The French philosopher Luce Irigai, in her essay Ethic of Sexual Difference, she wrote, "The body is our first place, our first word, our first home, our first relationship." So I ask you all, you can write down these questions of self-coaching on your journal now. The first question is, let it work inside you. Which kind of relationship do I want to have with my body? You don't have to answer now. Keep the questions working you and write the answers in your journal and let them work until next live that I will hold the next Friday. Which kind of relationship do I want to have with my body? First question. Second question, how do I desire to inhabit through my body and my senses this world? How do I desire to inhabit this world through my body and my senses? Third question of self-coaching, do I want to live a life dominated by fear, sense of guilt, rage, regret, and frustration? Or do I want to live a poetic life, a sensual life, an orgasmic life, which in one word is an Aphroditic life? These are the three questions of self-coaching that I have for you. And this life today, my dear ones, is an invitation. Hi, Paulina. Hi, Cascate Natura. Hello. This life, my beloveds, is an invitation that I invite you to rediscover yourself as women, not as objects of other people desire, people that we have to please at the cost of our happiness. But I am here to invite you all, chanting to your soul, to rediscover you as a subject, as subjects of desire, desiring subjects, not objects of desire. Women, incarnated souls that move with self-confidence in their own body and in the world, to really realize your desires, not to let them in the field, in the space. I am here to make facts, not just words. And I can grant you, I did it, and all of my students realized and are realizing their dreams and desires, because this is a path of reconnection with our desires and manifestation of our desires. And my intent is to guide you to rediscover you as women and sentient beings, intelligent beings, able to experience pleasure, not like something like a luxury or a guilt, but like a truth to incarnate. To remember that you don't have to waste your life to try, to struggle, to become somebody you are not, to please others. You just have to make space to let go of anything you are not and focus your efforts into becoming who you really are. It takes effort in life. At least, please address these efforts. Focus these efforts into becoming who you really are, the woman you really are, the woman that I asked you at the beginning of the life to keep well in mind. And if you stay till the end of this life, I will guide you in a very potent tantric practice that works on the breath, touch, movement, visualization, and sound, which is very powerful. So stay till the end. And then for those of you who stay till the end, for those of you who feel really ready to do the next step, a step that can revolutionize your erotic, or better, Aphrodisiac emotional relationship and professional life, at the end, there is a further gift for you. So stay here and share this life with all the women that you believe have to be found by this message of pleasure and freedom in sexuality, because we women, we can light the flame of each other and be good sisters. So this is an empowering life. This is an empowering life. So there are many women out there waiting to receive this message. So share with them. So are you ready? Let's light together the candle to start with this sacred space. I open this sacred space. Pleasure as compass. Transform your sexual energy into personal, professional, and relationship power. If you have the candle, you can do the same, but I lit the candle for every one of us, all of the women, all over the world. Very good. So let's start speaking about feminine magnetism. I am not talking about magnetism of magazines or advertisements and tutorial of seduction or Instagram filters. And I am not talking about what many self-proclaimed self-coaches teach to the women, how to manipulate men and vice versa, creating even more damages in dysfunctional and terrible relationships in the couples. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about strategies and about that. This is not magnetism. Magnetism of which I am talking about is something much more profound, something that sets you free, liberates you, empowers you, something functional and healthy, both for women and for the couple, believe me. And this has nothing to do with manipulating the other person. It rather has to do with the freedom to inhabit pleasure. And this is even way more dangerous for some structures of power so rooted in our patriarchal capitalistic society in which we still live nowadays. So, authentic magnetism, let's make it clear, a statement, it's not strategy, it's not makeup, it's not masks, it's the effect and natural consequence of a woman which is aligned and harmonized with her desires. A woman that has stopped reciting a script and has begun to write down her own story of power, to rewrite her own story of power, to reclaim her sexual power. A magnetic woman, she doesn't make any effort to please others because she is centered in her own pleasure, in her sovereignty, in her queenship. She doesn't compromise. She doesn't reduce and belittle herself in order not to disturb. No, she doesn't ask for permission to shine. She takes away all the labels as object of desire. She says, no, I am not an object of desire. I am a subject of desire. I am a desiring being. A magnetic woman radiates, not because she wants to gather, and she's not needy, she doesn't need to seek attention, but she is in her own integrity. She is whole in herself. And believe me, as a consequence of that, she becomes magnetic with men. Any man, but especially, finally, that kind of man, which is able to stay to the side of a powerful and radiant woman without belittling her, but on the contrary, supporting her, being king and queen. That's the true love, elevating each other, not belittling each other. It's not a relationship of fear of betrayal, fear and competition. It's a relationship of cooperation, partnership. That's what you will get working with your sexual energy, stepping into your sovereignty and into your magnetism. Staying with a man, not because you need it, but if a man comes, you will choose and attract and manifest a high caliber man. And I can tell you, maybe in another live, my story. My life changed totally when I started working consciously with my sexual energy. And after so much pain in relationships, I magnetized my husband. We're together since 11 years now. We have 2 kids. We work together in sacred sexuality. We continue exploring juicily sacred sexuality. And we're not bored of each other. On the contrary, every time making love is better and better. And we are the greatest ally of each other. That's what I'm talking about. That's the magnetism I am talking about. And you will also magnetize and attract situations because you will, half consciously, half unconsciously, but you will be so focused with your desire, so master of your sexual energy, that you will put yourself in conditions to attract and manifest and create situations that are in alignment with what you truly are. And I am talking a better economic and financial situation, a better realization in your work, shining, better relationships, not only with a partner, but also with friends, with parents, with sons and daughters. These integrity that you will gather through mastering your sexual energy and working with your desire. This is power. This is the good power, healthy power. Audre Lorde, she is a poet, activist, and Black feminist, lesbian, and revolutionary, a radical woman. She wrote with amazing, crystal clear confidence that sentence. You can write this quote so you remember it. And this is: erotic power, it's an internal resource rooted in the celebration of our power and our joy. Wow. Bam. Are we aware of the power of these words? Our power doesn't come from the outside. It's not something we have because we have received a glance of a man from the outside. This doesn't make our value. Not even a role makes our value. Not even being approved by the outside. It's an inner source. And this source is our pleasure. Because the more we give ourselves pleasure and love, starting from sexual pleasure, because we don't have to understand with the mind, but understand with the body that we are worth love and pleasure. And the more we make our body understanding it, giving us more orgasms, more pleasure in the body, the more our nervous system and our brain, as I will explain in a moment even better, will normalize the fact that we're worth pleasure, we're worth love, we're worth abundance, we're worth wealth. It's all about that. It's all about how much pleasure and love we can stand. This is another question of self-coaching I always ask to my students. How much pleasure and love can you stand? But then you would ask me, why so many women are not more able to feel? Why have we unlearned to stay within the body? Well, because since centuries, millennia, we have been said that desiring too much is dangerous, it's selfish, it's unacceptable, that a good woman, whatever this may mean, good woman, she doesn't have to ask. She doesn't need to look for something else. She doesn't have to desire. The only thing she has to desire are children and pleasing her husband and staying in the house and making it beautiful and be pretty. So just offering, showing off and waiting and be content. And so we have interiorized the fear of being too much. Ooh, who does resonate with that? Let me see. Is there somebody that resonates with that? You can write in the chats, both of YouTube and Instagram. So being too intense, too sensitive, too erotic, too emotional, too alive, basically. We are real, we are alive. Look at that. And so we have confused intimacy with performance, attraction with effort, and desire with duty. And moreover, we have confused our own true desire with other people's desire. They have convinced us so much of that there are still so many advertisings in the TV that make people believe that the best birthday gift we can receive is a dishwashing machine. Well, thank you. The truth is that our body does not lie. Hips don't lie. Body doesn't lie. Our body has her own intelligence. We don't have just a brain intelligence. We have also a uterus intelligence. And we have also a heart intelligence. Now science is profusely demonstrating it. We have cardio intelligence, and they're talking about interself and intraself, because we really can make decisions also using different centers of intelligence in the body. And when we come back to listening to our body, something reactivates. A power that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Therefore, what does it mean reconnecting to our authentic pleasure? First of all, it's a political act. Yes, my beloveds, because it's a conscious refusing of patriarchal narrations that want us disconnected from our own bodies, disconnected by our own desire and sexual power, disconnected between each other, women. They have made us believe that we are not able to be loyal and allied between each other. This is bullshit, all patriarchal bullshit. Disconnected from the body in general, and eternally dependent, eternally needed, and eternally spending money. In my books, I have profusely written about how much that the capitalistic market with surgery and cosmetics turns a lot on the body of women and women's insecurity. This is all bullshit. And this does not make you more lovable. It's mastering your desire and pleasure and sexual energy that makes you more magnetic. Connecting to our authentic pleasure, it's also a spiritual act, because it brings us back into the temple of our body where our inner truth is. And it's also a neurophysiologic act, because pleasure, it's not just a sensation, it's nervous system regulation, especially the pleasure that I teach in my sex coach training, and the way to stimulate and to massage our yoni and the breasts and all the parts of our body. It increases oxytocin, which is a good hormone of wellness, and recenters us, concentrates us within ourselves. And so we come back to ourselves, we come back to feeling our body. And when we come back to us, we come back home, and we become magnetic as a consequence of that, not as an objective. Because believe me, nothing is more seducing and seductive and magnetic of a shining woman, a radiant woman, a woman that belongs to herself. Now I would like to bring you a moment to really feel the weight of a truth that we often ignore, which is that for the majority of women, pleasure is still a colonized territory. It has been medicalized, it has been made a taboo, it has been transformed into performance. We have been told that we have to deserve pleasure. It's not your birthright. We have to deserve pleasure, to earn pleasure. But I believe we have to inhabit pleasure instead, because it's something at our disposal as a birthright since we are born. The real pleasure, it's not something we have to strive for. It is born from self-love, self-confidence, slow rhythms, and Aphrodisiac presence. Even the most recent neurophysiological researches, from Stephen Porges in the polyvagal theory to Esther Perel to Ellen Fisher, they clearly demonstrated us that the feminine body needs to feel safe, to really open to the erotic, Aphrodisiac sexual experience. In my sex coach training, I also speak about that. I also teach about the system of uterine bonding, and explain on a hormonal and scientific level why this is so. So we women, we need a context, we need an atmosphere, we need truth, we need connection. Every human being indeed needs connection. Otherwise, it's just the friction of the genitals and this pounding and squeezing and rubbing experience, just orgasm oriented, taking away all the pleasure. And yeah, nothing really good can come out of so much pressure, so much fear, so much judgment. When we repress pleasure, we increase the levels of cortisol, which is the hormone of stress. When we fake orgasms, how many women come to me before doing sex coach training, not after? They come to me and they say, oh, I always fake orgasms. I never had an orgasm. That's not what happened when you take sex coach training. But when you fake, you block, you freeze the production of oxytocin, which is the hormone of connection, relationship, intimacy, and love. When we dissociate during sex, and that can happen to very anxious women thinking about what to do, what to shop for the next day, or to women with traumas, sexual traumas, or micro relationship traumas. When we dissociate during sex, our nervous system dysregulates, and we repeat and renovate this dysregulation. And so the pleasure becomes anesthetics or alienation. The body is not anymore your home, your safe place, but your stage. And the woman is no more a subject of desire and pleasure, but somebody that from outside looks at her body and says, oh, let's hope it finishes soon. Believe me, I have students in sex coach training and private sessions between 30 years and 70 years. And so different stages of life. Even in the younger generations, many of my students come to me saying, you know, Maya, my parents never talked to me about sex. And when they did, my mother told me, yeah, sex is something you will have to do to keep your husband. This is terrible. And this is a scenario that makes us understand that there is a lot of ignorance about sexuality and what is sexuality. The majority of people are, if they are lucky, are stuck in the first level orgasm. Some of them, many women, don't even have orgasms because they don't know how to make love. While there are other levels of orgasms, which with tantric practice and practices from my method, Yoni Egg and Yoni Wand technology, which I teach in sex coach training, you can access further and higher levels of orgasms. And people out there have no idea what they are missing or what they are losing in just being content with the traditional average way of making love. There is a whole new slash ancient world to explore, and you never stop exploring. So you will never get bored of your partner because there is ever something new, something ever new to continue exploring. So believe me, this can be solved. If you are in that situation that I just described, please know things can be changed, and your ecstasy, it's just a step ahead of you. Because you're not born to fake, you're born to feel and enjoy. You deserve pleasure. And feeling and being aware, it's the first step to healing and to transformation. Because every time you come back to your body with love, with intention, with consciousness, you're rewriting your story and the story of your mother line, even. Your nervous system regulates, your self love expands, and self esteem expands, and you go out in the world with your crown like a queen because you're stepping into your sovereignty, and your desire starts again being your compass, your guide, and not a problem to hide. And that's just from this consciousness that my training, sex coach training, was born. This is the most complete and transformative training in the world that teaches you how to become a sex coach specialized in the use of Yoni eggs, Yoni wands, and anal wands. And this training is still quoted by the best universities of the world. It's an initiatory experience, a professional, sensual, personal couple experience that transforms your life on every level, because you can do this training just for yourself, and first of all for your own pleasure, and to be more confident, to feel well, better into your juicy body, Aphrodisiac body. And also, if you want, you can transmit that knowledge to other women as a sex coach. And it blends together. It's a very complete and integrated work and method that blends together Tantra, neurosciences, and somatic practices to reactivate the orgasmic response and to reconnect your consciousness to your body as an instrument of vision, to have a clear vision of the woman you want to become, and magnetism to manifest the life you want to have and your desires. We will work with Yoni eggs, Yoni wands, crystal lingams, and dildos, anal wands, to work on the pelvic floor and to resensitize the Yoni in depth with the Yoni reflexology. It's a very, very accurate training using these natural crystals as sex toys, but they're not just sex toys. They're creatures which are alive and are so powerful that crystals in crystal therapy are used, because they're used also in the phones or in the computer from which you are hearing this live. Imagine what they can do in contact with your body and inside the body, in contact with your sexual fluids. So we will transform sexuality into medicine and your intimacy into a sacred space of healing, pleasure, and sovereignty. And also, this is a feminist matriarchal path in which we learn again how to stay in circle between women, how to be the best allies of each other and decolonize our bodies, our desires, our pleasure, to go out of the scripts interiorized and creating a new paradigm of sexual energy that becomes the force, the creative, spiritual, and professional force to change the world. So we are changing the world one orgasm at a time, basically, making love, not war. This is very revolutionary, this training, and it has already changed the life of hundreds of women from all over the world that have already taken my training. So I have more for you, but I want to say that if you want to apply to sex coach training, please know there is an early bird exclusive offering, limited offering just for a few days. So if you want, run on the link in my Instagram bio. At the end of this live, I will also put the link in the chat, both on YouTube and on Instagram. But in my Instagram bio, which is Maya Vassallo Di Florio _ sacred sex, because I have two profiles, one in English and one in Italian. So if you are English speaking person, you go on the English profile, Maya Vassallo Di Florio _ sacred sex. And in my bio, you will find the link to apply to sex coach training and revolutionize your sex and relationship and love life, and also your professional life and economic life. It's not just how to learn to be a sex coach. It's much more than that. It's about becoming an incarnated guide for women, able to transform her own sexual life into power, her own sensitivity into a compass. And it's about transforming your voice into a lighthouse for other women, enlightening other women. Yeah. And that's for this reason that I didn't create this training like a simple course. It's a real path of rebirth, of sovereignty, to be really impactful as a woman in the world, to make real changes. And you will read in the internet page dedicated to this training, you will read all the feedbacks of the women that already took the training in the past. And this is a sacred container, powerful container where your body finally can be listened to, a source of truth and wisdom. Because pleasure, my beloveds, is not just a private stuff. It's a political thing, and also spiritual and professional. And you deserve to be the main character of your life and your sexual life, first of all. To be centered in your yoni, the vulva, vagina, cervix, uterus, and ovaries that comprehends the yoni, which is the Sanskrit word to describe the feminine genitals. This is a source of life, death, and pleasure. But for centuries, for millennia, actually, it has been silenced, censored, medicalized, belittled, made something shameful, transformed into an object to use for man's pleasure or to make babies, something to modify with a surgery, even to be nicer for the man and to do bleaching and stuff, or to please the man, or something to ignore. That's the way we have been told to address our yoni. It's not surprising then that many women don't dare to touch their yoni or to look at their yoni in the mirror. I have so many students that come to me that never saw their yoni in a mirror. Others touch themselves very quickly to put tampons, which are the majority of them cause cancer, by the way. I also talk about that in the training, and all the alternatives, the healthy alternatives, or just to wash their yoni or to shave their yoni because they have to be perfect, of course. So they touch their yoni, the majority of women, very mechanically and in a very rough way, as if the body was an instrument to control rather than a space to inhabit and to enjoy. Who does relate with that? Write me down what you think about that. I'm curious to hear more about you also. Other women, on the contrary, are very sexual and feel very inadequate, very too much in their desires, or they feel, oh my good, oh my smell, or that I am too hairy, or maybe the shape of my yoni is not good enough, the shape of my body, or the the rolls of fat, the pimples, the hair, the cellulite, whatever. So many complexes. But our bodies and our yonis are not objects to correct. Our yoni, it's an incarnated oracle, a sacred temple that holds memories, intuitions, and so much pleasure. Oh my God. Oh my goddess. And as in any other temple, she needs another way of making love. She needs connection. I have made a test. If you want, write to me, even in the comments, and I will forward you the test. A test to discover your sex love language, because we all have all of them, but any one of us, every one of us has a preferential sex love language, and there is the spiritual, the sensual, energetic, the romantic, and the kinky. So it's not about the style of our sexuality, but it's about really having connection with the partner, because we can even be kinky and have that sexual intercourse, very powerful and strong. But if there is not connection and trust, if there is not an atmosphere, maybe we even reach the orgasm, but it's not an orgasm with the right uterine attachment, the uterine bonding system, and the hormones that we will produce are not healthy hormones, believe me. So what I'm teaching and I'm transmitting in sex coach training, it's another way of making love, which is not the average, it's the stellar orgasmic way of making love. Joining sex coach training, you will not just receive techniques, you will receive a transformation, an initiation, because this is a professional and spiritual path of very high caliber. That's why it's quoted even by the best universities of the world. And I will transmit you also the principles of Aphroditic philosophy, how to embody the real archetype of Aphrodite, not the one narrated by patriarchal classical male narrators. And I will transmit you my integrated method, recognized even on an academic level, joining together Tantra, neurosciences, psychosomatic, art, embodiment, and ritual practices for feminine healing. Within the training, which is one of the most potent experiences you can have, you will receive also my transmissions on how to use sacred crystals in the yoni, which are so powerful that can be used in the electronic devices. So that's why I always say you have to learn, because it impacts on your hormones, on your mood, on your health. So you really need a training to do that. You cannot improvise, and don't trust people who say just put a yoni egg in your yoni and that's okay. There are some rules and there is a method in that, and that can be very dangerous. Some yoni eggs, some crystals are toxic. Doesn't mean that only if they have geometry of the yoni egg you can put them in your yoni. So you need a profound, structured, recognized, and high caliber training to use these creatures, because they are living creatures, intelligent beings that are the most ancient of the world, the crystals. They are very powerful. We don't play with them. They contain metals, they contain substances. So you really have to know if that crystal is good for you. You cannot go random. There are contraindications. So a very good sex coach that uses Yoni eggs, Yoni wands, anal wands, she needs to know very well. That's why this is the only training in the world actually that really forms in a complete and structured training women to become sex coach specialized in crystals. So we will work with the Yoni reflexology, reactivating the profound sensitivity of the Yoni, which is often like asleep, anesthetized from years of disconnection or performative pleasure. So having this pounding and contracting and rubbing kind of sex, which is the one that people learn from pornography, it's not healthy and anesthetizes our yoni. Using too much vibrators anesthetizes our yoni. So there is all a path of neuronal pathways of pleasure that we build in this sex coach training. This is very, very accurate and really resensitizes the yoni so that you will feel so much pleasure you've never experienced before, believe me. And I always laugh when I hear my students for the first time saying, "Oh, what's that? What's this pleasure? I never felt like that." Oh, the first time I had so much pleasure with my husband after many years together. And also the couples are reignited again in their sexuality and intimacy. And that's very beautiful to witness. So it's also a trauma-informed training. So we will work with liberation of traumas and psychosomatic memories that are stuck into the vaginal tissues through the help of Yoni reflexology and breath, movement, sound, and really mastering the use of the muscles of the pelvic floor and of the yoni to release emotions, fears, traumas, sense of guilt, shame, whatever is stuck there that prevents us to experience stellar, sidereal, starry pleasure, cosmic pleasure. And we work also on the cervix as an oracular door to experience the strongest orgasms that we can feel, also on an emotional and spiritual level. And we will work also on the spiritual level, not only scientific and holistic one, also spiritual and philosophic one, with some practices of Tantra. So you will reach the state which is called in Tantra, in Sanskrit, samyama, in which every breath, every touch become a mystical, orgasmic experience. And the senses become so alive that you really feel pleasure, like you have many yonis all over the body, and whatever you drink in with your senses is an orgasm. That's what I mean with becoming an orgasmic, Aphrodite woman. And that you will reach with sex coach training. So you can do it, as I said, for yourself, but also you will learn how to facilitate a transformation for your future clients and patients with these elegant and refined instruments. And in a place of your sovereignty, with a method which is officially recognized and has already changed the life of hundreds of women from all over the world. So I want to close talking about seduction. How many times you heard this word and you asked yourself, isn't it something wrong or superficial or and manipulation. This is the cousin of magnetism. Maybe you held your light and your sexual energy in order not to be perceived as too much. Maybe you censored your desire because you didn't want to be misunderstood. Or maybe you accepted to stay in a relationship or in a role in that relationship to please the other person because you were never seen really. And what if I tell you that seduction is the power to really be unapologetically yourself in your body, in your voice, in your eyes, in your playing with your body? Seduction is a game, is a dance, it's fun. It's not manipulation. It's not power over. It's power with the other. Sexual power playing with another person. This is a dance. It's an invitation not to dominate, but to create playful and authentic relationships in which even the other one may feel free to play with seduction and sexual power and fully be herself or himself. Again, quoting Luce Irigaray, the feminist philosopher, she said this wonderfully. She said, seduction is the invitation to the other person to become herself or himself in relationship to me. Becoming herself or himself in relationship to me. That's seduction. Because we play different with different people. And this is not fake. This is alive, true, conscious of the differences, because it's not making a mask, wearing a mask according to the person we have in front of us. It's being aware that we are one in one entanglement and we mirror each other. So according to the person with which we dance, the dance of seduction, we will express a peculiar way of our seduction. And it will be different with any person. When you become a master of your pleasure and sexual energy, this is so real, so grounded in you, that those who are in your field will be touched by that. And it will be so beautiful and nourishing and inspiring for others. So there will be so much juicy in sex coach training. So much of that I will transmit to you in sex coach training, incarnating your sensuality. Because it's not about knowing the techniques, the books, the theories. It's not about creating contents if you don't vibrate in your Yoni, your snake, your Kundalini, your sexual energy, if you don't embody the Aphrodite within you. So in this sex coach training, you will learn how to become the source of your own pleasure and radiate that, transmitting that to other women, inspiring other sisters to the same freedom. It's a sexual revolution. You will learn how to create your professional identity if you want to do it as a job also. It's not mandatory to have the exam and the thesis at the end of the training. You can also do it just for yourself and your relationship. But I will transmit you all the instruments in case you want to become a successful sex coach, expressing your inner truth authentically and ethically. And I will transmit you how to acknowledge that every client, every relationship, every project which is really transformative in a permanent way, is born from how much connected you are to your body, your yoni, and your sexual energy. Because you will be ever more successful the more you are connected with your sexual power. And this is connected also with your sovereignty and the archetype of the queen, which we work a lot during sex coach training. So you will really feel, understand in the body that you're not here to adapt, to compromise, to be content, but you're here to shine, to thrive in pleasure and wealth, and to be impactful and to make a difference in a positive way, inspiring and enlightening other women. Mm. You like it? So now, as I promised, there is a very simple yet powerful tantric practice. So if there are some men, you can do it working on your pelvic floor, so contracting your perineum, which is the space between your testicles and anus. And women, you will contract and squeeze your yoni muscles. This is a very simple and base practice of Aphrodisiac breath of the yoni, which I teach in sex coach training. Very basic one, but the most powerful. My students had orgasms just keeping practicing this practice for some minutes. So just to give you an idea of how powerful it is. And this is the basis to other more advanced practices of sacred sexuality that I will transmit you. So I ask you to sit comfortably on a chair or on the floor. You have your candle lit, maybe. Just take some moments, minutes for you, moving your body and allowing yourself to drop into your body through slowing down your breath, dropping into your pleasure and magnetic energy. You can do it, this practice, wherever you are, even in the breaks from work, or you can just listen to me and you can do it later because it's recording. And please let the images and my voice nourish you from within. So sit comfortably, right hand on your heart, left hand on your Mount of Venus, on your yoni or on your lingam. Maybe you can cup your yoni and your lingam. Breathe in deeply. And with a sigh of relief, breathe out completely and let go of any tension. Let's do it one more time. Use the sound and the breath to let go of any tension in the body. One last time. And now we start with the Aphrodisiac breath of the yoni or the lingam, if you have a lingam. Breathe in deeply in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Squeeze your pelvic floor, squeeze the yoni for 4 seconds. And breathe out in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Releasing your pelvis. When you breathe in from the nose, 1, 2, 3, you squeeze your sex and bring up your kundalini, your sexual energy, like splashing it out from the crown chakra as a golden fountain. Then you hold the breath and you continue radiating this liquid light for 4 seconds, keeping holding your sex, squeezing up and relax from your mouth. Breathe out and you relax your sex. Letting go anything you no longer need. And again, you breathe in from your nose, squeezing up your yoni or your lingam. Squeeze the energy up, let it go up your spine. And when it goes out like a fountain, a golden fountain, you hold for 4 seconds squeezing the Kundalini up like a snake. And then from your mouth, with the sound, sensual moan, you let go and relax your sex. Continue doing that. And I ask you to imagine this golden, soft light, very warm light that goes up and down as you breathe in and breathe out and expands into your hips, feels your womb, your yoni, your cervix, feels the space of your womb. If you have a lingam, feels your lingam. Imagining in your hips, your lightening an inner lamp, an inner torch, which doesn't burn, it only makes you more alive, illuminating gently every part of your physical and subtle bodies. Keep breathing it, squeezing the Kundalini up with the golden light going up. In 6 seconds, exploding, erupting like a golden fountain out of your head. Hold for 4 seconds. Hold, squeeze it up. Feel your sex becoming more and more alive. And then from your mouth, you let go and you feel this golden light expanding in your hips. Now we add one more level. Start while you breathe in and out, start touching your body very slowly. Breathe in, squeeze your yoni, feel the golden go up and down. And you let go with sound and moan. You caress your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your face, your head and your hair, your neck, your breasts, your womb, the inner part of your thighs. Don't rush. Just take your time while you breathe in, squeezing your sexual energy up, squeezing the muscles of your sex. And in the out breath, you let go and relax while you keep touching yourself. Now let's add one more level. When you breathe out through this affirmation. I am worth of pleasure. I am worth of pleasure. You breathe in and squeeze. Caress your body, and in the out breath you say the mantra, my body is sacred and powerful. I am magnetic and free. I am worth pleasure. Squeeze and bring it up. My body is sacred and powerful. I am magnetic and free. And while you keep breathing in and out, distributing the gold in your body and in your field and caressing you and saying all the affirmations, I want to say you one thing. These are not just motivational sentences and positive sentences. We are re-educating our nervous system, connecting the sensorial stimulus of pleasure through the touch, through the breath, through the sound, through the squeezing of the sex. We are connecting it through the central cord in the brain with the affirmation, creating in this neuroplastic active process, new neurological pathways of pleasure, connecting them in this map on the body with the center of word in the brain. So the voice affirms what the body feels, and the brain integrates and solidifies. So little by little, with this practice, you learn how to substitute years of inner limiting sentences, punishing sentences, belittling, disruptive sentences with words that nourish, that gives you more self-love, that welcome you, that give you more self-confidence. Now you can stand up if you want to, and you can let the body move freely. It doesn't have to be a dance, but it can be if you want. Move all the body and start the movement from the hips. Rotate the shoulders, rotate the neck, rock and swing with your body. Remember to breathe. And in the out breath, use the consonants of the vibration of the sound to affirm pleasure, to inhabit pleasure through the consonants of sound in the body. This is a neurophysiological exercise that is very powerful to re-educate your nervous system, normalizing pleasure. So keep moving. Don't think about performance, just move as your body wants to move freely. Now that your movement is born from your sex, from the sound of pleasure. And now bring the movement gently to a conclusion and stand still. And now I ask you, in this state of pleasure and bliss, please visualize yourself in 6 months from now, which is how long sex coach training lasts. Visualize yourself in your full power as a successful woman you are. Can you see the vision of yourself as a fully affirmed and realized woman, an orgasmic woman, a woman that thrives in her relationships with her partner, with friends, with whomever, a woman which is self-confident in her body and walks into the world like wearing a crown, a woman who is successful in the job she loves, maybe a sex coach, a woman that earns her money, the money she thinks she is worth, and even more, a woman that thrives in wealth and pleasure. A radiant, shining woman. Can you see yourself as that? As the queen you are? As the queen of pleasure and love you are? So visualize yourself precisely. Where are you? How you are dressed? How are your hair? What are you wearing? The jewels? Who are you with? How do you love? How much do you receive in life, in relationship, economically, in your work? How much do you thrive? Can you see? So imagine maybe you enter in a room, your glance is calm and happy, your voice is clear and confident, your energy is radiant because you're sexually and satisfied in your love and relationships and in your job. You thrive. So you're not trying to please others. You own your pleasure. You're unapologetically yourself. Can you see that? Can you feel how good it feels? Feel that emotion. Maybe you're jumping in your vision here and there saying, yeah, I realized my desires. I am the woman I wanted to blossom in. I am that woman. Visualize that in 6 months from now, after sex coach training, you will realize so many of your desires you have no idea. As all of my students have. So when you're ready, breathe in, hold this energy, this vision, and squeeze your yoni and pour this gold all over your body. And when you're ready, with some let this vision go out through the voice, through the emotions, through the gold, through the visualization, and give this vision to the world and to your unconscious mind. This is a powerful anchor. You will realize that. This is just a little, small part of the immense practices and method you will learn in sex coach training, which is a transformational training for yourself and for all the women you will want to guide. Every week, I will be with you hand in hand, guiding you into profound, elegant, and transformative practices. In this technology, which is so advanced that it becomes art, a work of art. So I will guide you, transforming your life into your work of art. So if you are here so far, please know that, again, you will find the early bird offering to sex coach training in my Instagram bio. And at the end of this live, I will also post the link to sex coach training. Please know that the early bird offering is very limited and exclusive. So if you intend to apply, do it now and join the amazing women that from all over the world already joined this training, changing their sex and relationship and love life and the one of other women and their economic life also. So if you need to talk to me and you want to know, to be sure that this is the path for you, I am available also for private orientation sessions, which are free, totally free. So going on my Instagram page, Maya Vassallo Di Florio _sacred sex, you will both find the link to see, to apply to join sex coach training, and also the link to book day and time of your private free coaching session, orientation session with me. I'm very happy. If you apply by tonight at midnight, there is a further gift. You don't only have the access to sex coach training immediately, but also the bonus module of ethical marketing and business. Because for those of you who want to become successful sex coaches, and you are very determined, by applying to sex coach training by midnight today, you will have the opportunity to have further instruments to promote yourself in an ethic, Aphrodisiac way, to transform your vocation into a wealthy profession, which is elegant and sensual. Well, I was really, really happy to be with you today. Thanks to every one of you from all over the world. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you if you want, to the other side of the veil of pleasure on board sex coach training. Thank you. Thank you, my loves. Bye.